Hello everybody and welcome to my channel again. This is the second lecture on loops and conditional keywords. So as discussed earlier also, keywords are special words which are predefined by Python and we use them to make our coding more presentable and more convenient, and it makes us more convenient to use, because these words, instead of writing the whole long codes, we can directly use these words and it minimizes a lot of tasks. So today we are going to talk about three conditional keywords. So firstly, what are loops? Loops are sequential codings which keep on running again and again, and it never stops. So it means that if you classify something, if I write x is equal to 5 and then I keep on printing it, and I write it print it until and unless the value of x changes, so it's going to print the value of x so many times. So this means that loops is something which keeps on repeating itself again and again until and unless we put a condition over there and specify that this loop has to continue until and unless it reaches this situation. So like this only, there are loops and conditional keywords which are used to make our programming more convenient. So let's have a look at the three. So for firstly, we have if else. So if and else is used for putting conditions in our code. So if else are different keywords, but they are used together. In most of the cases they are used together. So let's talk about, so if and else are used for putting a condition. Let's take an example. If I say a is equal to 30 and I say b is equal to 20, and then I write if a is equal to 30. So like we did this earlier also. So you can either put a bracket over here, or you can also skip the bracket and put a space. It's one of the same thing, it won't make any difference. So let's take an example which we have already done. A is equal to 30. So I'm checking whether a is equal to 30, and as well as at the same time b is equal to 20. So here I'm going to check if both of these conditions are true. I want the computer to print me let's say print true. So if both of these conditions are true, I want the computer to print true for me, and would mean that both of them should be true. If either of one of them is false, then the computer won't run the statement. So let's put another statement, another condition using else, that what if this statement is not true? What if a is not equal to 30 or b is not equal to 20, or both of them are not equal? So in such a situation, we are going to put another condition using else. Now in else, it is everything is covered. It's going to just see that if the if statement is not true, then it's going to directly jump to the else statement and print false. So I have put two e's. Okay. Now so uh, if the computer is going to check whether if the first statement is true, if it's true, it's going to print true, otherwise it's going to print false. So let's run this. See, the output is true. What if I change the value of b and 40? So now we can see that if either one of the condition is false, we learned this in AND operator. If either of the condition is false, then the computer is not going to print true, because it's going to directly jump to the else statement and print false. So this first statement, the if statement, it's not going to be executed at all. The computer reaches the first statement, checks a is equal to 30, yes it is, then it checks b is equal to 20, no it's not. Then it's going to directly skip that part and jump to the else statement. So this whole statement which is I have selected is going to be ignored, and it's going to directly jump to the else statement and print false. So let's run this and see the output is false. What if I write or over here? So as we learned, or would mean if either of the two condition is true, then the output will be true. So in this case, a is equal to 30, that's true. But when it goes to b is not equal to 20. But since the operator here is or and not and, so it's going to check that and if either of the two conditions is true, which it is true, it's going to print as true. See, now what if I change both the values and say a is 60? Now both of the two conditions is false, so now it's going to jump to the else statement and print false. So this is how if and else work. Now what if I want to put more than two conditions in my coding? Well, here I have written just two conditions, and what if I want to put two conditions? Let's suppose I add another variable c equal to 10. So in this case, now I don't like, here I was checking one statement if, and then I was putting the else. So now let's see how do we do it, that if we want to put more than two statements, more than two conditions. So if I write a is equal to b, so two equal to's we are going to put because we are checking, and I write print a is equal to, or a and b are equal. So the computer is going to print the statement when a and b are equal. Okay, we don't need c, I guess. Yeah, let's make it a more easier for you to understand. So now if I want to add another condition, we add another condition with the keyword elif. ELIF. This keyword is used for adding more conditions to the program. That if the computer goes to the if statement and finds that a and b are not equal, so it's going to directly jump to the elif statement. So let's say the elif statement is, okay, we can say like first statement is a is equal to b, and maybe we can add another statement like a is greater than b or b is greater than a. We can add such things, and we can add more than one conditions in our coding. So this is the use of elif. By using elif, we can add as many conditions as we want, as much we want, and in the end we can put else condition if none of the situation is covered in any of the elif statement, then it's going to jump to the else statement. So else statement is for a backup, that if the situation falls in none of the condition mentioned above, then it's going to print the else statement. So let's add elif statement a is greater than b, and we want the computer to print a, and a is greater than b. So if a is not equal to b, then it's going to jump to the second statement, and if it finds that a is greater than b, it's going to print this. And if we're going to add another elif statement, if a is less than b, then we want the computer to print a is less than b. So this is how we do it. If a is equal to b, it's going to print a and b are equal. If it's greater, it's going to print it's greater, and if it's less, it's going to print a is less than b. So this is the use of elif statement. We can use this elif keyword as many times as we want for adding as many conditions as much we want. Then at the end we can put else statement. This is optional, but let's just put it. It won't make any difference as such, because there cannot be any other condition, either a and b are equal or one of them is greater. So but let's just put it for seeing how does it works. So we can write, suppose no output, it's not going to print anyway, it's just for writing. So let's run this. So when we run this, it's going to check all the statements and it's going to print a is greater than b, because yeah, we can see that a is greater than b. So what did it do? It first jumped to each and every statement. So if I change the value of b and I make them equal, it's going to print a and b are equal. So it's running each and every condition, and which condition it finds true, it's going to print it more further. So let's see how does else work. So you can add one more condition. Let's say I just want to print something when a and b are equal. So I want to print a and b are equal, and if any other condition happens, any one of them is greater or less than anything, I want to print we can write can't tell. Okay, so okay, that doesn't make any sense though, but it's okay. So if statement is not run, then we are going to, it will directly jump to the else statement. So let's try running this and see the output is can't tell, because A and B are not equal. So it's going to directly jump to the else statement. This if statement is going to be ignored. First it's going to check if A and B are equal, then it's fine. It's not equal. It's not going to even read the print statement. It's going to directly jump to the else statement and print what is given there. It's can't tell, so it printed can't tell. So this is how if and else work, and we can add elif for adding more statements, more conditions. So I hope it's clear, and let's move on. So the next keyword which we are going to do is the for loop. Okay, so for loop, let's read it. For loop is used through an to loop for loop is used to loop through an iterable object. Now what is an iterable object? An iterable object can be anything. It can be a list or tuple or dictionary, anything, and performs the same action for each entry. So now what does it mean is that it's going to repeat the same task, the same code each time for each and every entry. Let's suppose we have a list, and the list have 5 items, 5, 6, and anything. Now if we have the list, so it's going to pick each one element from the list one by one and going to perform the same task which we specify, obviously, to that element. Then when it's done with one element, it is going to move to the next element, then to the next, then to the next. So it's just going to move on with each element one by one until unless all the elements have run through the same coding. So this is kind of a loop. It's going to continue until unless it has performed the same action on all the elements present in the list or tuple or dictionary. It can also be used with a range. Now what is a range? Range can be, what if I don't want to use a list or a tuple or dictionary? I can specify a range from any value. Okay, so we're going to try this. So first let's try with a list. I'm going to name the list as, okay, A doesn't looks good, so lst list, let's say. And I have written a list. Suppose the list have these elements which I'm writing. So my list has 5 items. So it's going to print these 5 items each and every time. It's going to run traverse through these 5 items and perform the same task again and again. So I'm sorry for this blacking out again and again. So let's say I write for x in lst. So what does this x in lst mean over here? X in lst means that for x specifies each and every element. It's 2, 5, 6, 7, all these are x. So, and I hope you have noticed I'm putting this colon every time. This colon is used for indentation, and this indentation is very, very important. If you do not put the as, you can see as soon as I click enter, it's directly giving me an indentation. So this indentation is very important. If it's not there, then you get a syntax error. So Python is case sensitive as well as indentation matters a lot in Python. So every time we use this, we put a colon and automatically gives us an indentation. So now if I say print x, okay, now if I want to want the computer to traverse through this list and print the characters every time one by one. So let's see, it printed all the characters one by one. Now if I want them all to be printed in the same line, then we can add a statement. See, if I add over here comma end equal to, and I write quotation marks. Now you can see there's no space in between this quotation mark. So it's going to print 2, then it's going to print 5, and all in the same line without any space, because I haven't given it a space. I have provided 2 quotations together. If I increase the distance between them, it's going to give this much space in between. So let's try this with no space. So now you can see all the numbers are merged together. It's very difficult to identify. Let's say I give 1 tab space to it now. So now what will happen is we get 1 tab space in between all the elements. If I want to increase the space, let's suppose so much of space I want to provide in between. So you can see now they are there's a distance, long distance between them. So this is how we can also add a character in between. Suppose I want to add star over here in between all the entries. Now if I put run this, it's going to give a star, an asterisk after every entry. It's not coming in between, it's coming at the end. You can see I've specified end, so it's coming at the end. Now if this dollar sign, it's coming at the end, not in between. You can see after the last element 3 also we can see. So this is how for works for LST. Now suppose if I want to write a range, if I don't want to use this list, and if I want to run x over a particular given range. So what can be range? Range can be any range from between 0 to let's say 10, 20, anything. It can be a range. So now what happens is x is every element, every number in between this range, and this range includes all the numbers from 0 to 10. But there's a catch, you should remember that it's going to print only till number 9. Number 10, the last number of the range, is not included. So first it's going to print 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and so on till the number 9. The last digit 10 is not included. So this is a very important point and you should keep this in mind. So it's going to print till 9 only. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So it's not going to print the number 10. So let's try running this. If I run this, you can see till 9 it's printing. So this is the use of range. Okay. So I hope it's clear. It's going to print until and unless till the time it wants. We can add end over here also. Okay, I'll give a space in between. And now if I run this, they are all going to come in the one single line with one tab space in between. So this is how for works. We can use it with a list as well as with a range of numbers. Then the last and foremost for today is while loop. So while loop is used to execute a block of statements repeatedly until a given condition is satisfied. So you won't be able to understand it right now, but we're going to see an example and then only you will understand. So let me give an overview. It's like it's going to repeat the same execution. It's going to execute the same statement again and again until it reaches its satisfied condition. So let's suppose I write while I'll write x is equal to I'll write x is equal to 5 for suppose, and then I write while. Now I'm specifying a condition while x is greater than, I'll write while x is greater than 0. Till the time x is greater than 0, I want the computer to print x. So now you'll see the value of x is 5 and it's greater than 0. 5 is greater than 0, we all know that. So it's going to print 5. Now till when? It's going to be an infinite loop. You can see it's going to print 5 infinitely many times because the value of x is 5 always. It's not changing, and 5 is greater than 0. It's going to print 5 till the end because the value of x is never changing. Now if I want the value of x to be decreased by 1 every time it prints the value of x, so we are going to add the statement x is equal to x minus 1. We did this in operations also, we wrote it. So now here what will happen, first x, it will print 5 because 5 is less than 0, and then it's going to decrease by 1 and it's going to print 4. Then 4 is still less than 1, less than 0, I'm sorry, greater than 0, so it's going to print 4 as well. Then it's going to print 3 because 3 is also greater than 0. It's going to print 2 and 1 because they're also greater than 0. But when it reaches the number 0, when x is 1 minus 1 and it becomes 0, now it's not going to come out of the loop automatically on its own, because now our condition was valid only till x was greater than 0. Now 0 is not greater than 0, we all know that. So this statement is not going to run, it isn't valid. Okay, so see, now the output is 4 3 2 1. So it's not going to print 0, it's going to print the value of x until and unless x is greater than 0. this is a point to be noted. And see, suppose you must be noticing, you must be thinking that why are we using this keyword. So see, if I don't write this while at all, then what will I have to do? I have to print the value of x manually every time. I can't write so many times. Now if I'm writing x, then I'm decreasing, then I'm printing again, then I'm decreasing again, then I'm printing again. So this is going to be a lot of work. Right now I have just 5x, the value is just 5. What if I want to print it 500 times? I can't keep on writing this again and again 500 times. That doesn't make sense, right? So we use the while keyword because it makes the work a lot more easier and convenient. So I hope this is clear, and if you have any doubts or anything, you can write in the comment section as I mentioned. So I hope this is clear to everybody, and if you liked the video and if you understood, then please do like, share and subscribe my channel. If you have any doubts, you can comment in the comment section. I'm going to answer it as soon as I see the message. Or you can also follow me on these sites on Instagram and Twitter. So next class we're going to start with strings. Thank you.